Good evening, councillors, staff members, members of the public. It is 5:30 and I'll declare this OCM open. Doing so, I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land, the Noongar Wadani people, and their continuing connection to the land, waters and community. We pay our respects to all members of the Aboriginal community and their culture, and to elders past, present and emerging. Welcome to everybody here. We also have Councillor Quain joining us online, which I've approved. Councillor Quain, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Thanks, Councillor Quain.
Yes.
Yep, I got you. Great. You're in the screen in front of me, Councillor Quain. So what I will ask, if you just keep your mic on mute, would be ideal. And then when you're voting, obviously you can just raise your hand, and if you would like to debate or move something, just get my attention. But I can see you. You're right in front of the screen in front of me. So welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome, Councillor Quain. And Councillor Julie Broad is on approved leave. Welcome to everyone here in the gallery. Great to see a full house. And this meeting is also being live streamed, so there'll be people joining us online as well. I will probably just acknowledge, I note there's probably a number of people here for the item in regards to Beach Road in the audience. You may or may not have noted, if you have the agenda in front of you, the Beach Road item is listed at item 15, which is marked as confidential. This is due to the attachment and the offer being confidential. When we get to that item, it will be asked to move behind closed doors to discuss that item, given the commercial confidence of that offer. Should whatever council decide during behind closed doors will be read out after that period. So if you are still here at that time, we will need to vacate the room for that discussion, and then council will read out, or I will read out whatever council decisions made. I can't say how long that will be as well. I'll just make note of that as well. There's two confidential items to deal with this evening. So I just want to make that clear at the front. Whatever council also makes, should obviously we not proceed, that'll be that. If we do proceed, that will go out for advertising, where it will be open for comment, including the value, conditions and any other thing relevant to the sale. At that stage, you'll be out for public submissions, and at the close of that period, that will return to council, and that will be in a full meeting in item 10, between item 10, or will be in one of the items in item 10. So there will be the full opportunity to have the open debate at that stage. So just wanted to make that very clear. Thank you. So I've been through the attendances and apologies. We have received several declarations of interest. Councillor Mesh has declared impartial interest at item 10.2.1. Councillor Gassip has declared impartial interest at 10.4.2. Impartial interest means they'll stay in the room for those items. Councillor Gassip, though, has declared a proximity interest for item 15.1.2. So Councillor Gassip will leave the room for that particular item. Is there any other declaration of interest on tonight's agenda? Thank you very much. So I believe we have received a couple of public question times. I think one person has indicated they won't be here. They will be asked separately. But Sarah Davies, is Sarah here? Thank you. You can come and ask your questions. No, we've got them in front of you. So, I mean, if you want to read them out, I would suggest that, and then we'll respond to those. So, thanks. Oh, and just there should be a handheld mic in front of you there. If you could grab that one, please. It may already be on.
Is it on?
That's on, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Question 1. Given that the City of Bunbury is actively removing local Cape lilac trees as part of its treescape renewal program, and given the endangered Western Australian black cockatoos rely heavily on urban foraging sites, why has the City prioritised the clearing of approximately 30 mature trees at 89 Beach Road for private development, rather than enhancing this site with native plantings to offset the loss of local canopy, thereby increasing local green infrastructure and protection of a documented nesting site for the big swamp snake-neck turtles, as per Chris Howe's deputation to Council on the 21st of April. Given that the off-road, question 2,
Sure.
Given that the off-road route along 89 Beach Road links to the Big Swamp and provides confident, safe access for pedestrians of all ages and abilities to one of Bunbury's most loved natural attractions, what specific safety assessments or pedestrian risk frameworks have been undertaken by the City regarding the intersection of Beach Road and Stewart Street, considering also 89 Beach Road serves as a direct off-road route for local children who access the dedicated safe crossing on Beach Road to Bunbury Primary School from the south. And question 3, the council recently commended 60 Stirling Street residents via their street access promotion for their civic care, taking pride in their street and neighbourhood. Why is council actively ignoring the identical community pride, environmental care and formal opposition expressed by more than 80 Tree Street and local residents and nearly 600 petition signatories opposing the sale of 89 Beach Road?
Thanks. Thanks, Sarah. I think I'll defer those first 2 questions to the CEO, as they're probably more operational. I'll probably just answer question 3, that obviously that's a question to council, and council will be considering those, basically what you've indicated there. We'll be considering those comments from this evening, and that's what we'll be discussing later on and voting on. But I'll refer to question 1 and question 2 to the CEO.
Thank you, Mayor. We acknowledge and appreciate the genuine concern for local biodiversity, urban canopy and the ecological values of this area. Regarding the trees at 89 Beach Road, the city's vegetation assessment identified 28 trees comprising a mix of southwest native species, other WA natives, interstate Australian species and exotic species. The larger, more established specimens are exotic and interstate species, not local natives. No significant trees requiring retention for redevelopment purposes have been identified. We also want to clarify that residential development does not automatically result in the removal of all vegetation. Many properties in the surrounding neighbourhood retain mature trees, and any future development of this lot would be subject to standard planning requirements. Any environmental considerations will be carefully evaluated as any development application progresses through the appropriate planning framework. And we remain committed to expanding native plantings and green infrastructure across Bunbury as part of our broader environmental strategy. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay. Thank you for your questions, and they'll be... Oh, question 2, sorry, CEO.
In regards to question 2, again, we appreciate the concern for pedestrian safety, particularly regarding children travelling to school. It should also be noted that 89 Beach Road is currently a vacant residential lot with an existing footpath providing pedestrian access across the street frontage. It does not currently function as an off-road pathway. The City can confirm that any existing footpath infrastructure will be retained, replaced if necessary, and maintained as part of any future development of this lot, ensuring pedestrian amenity is preserved. The City will also continue to advocate for main roads for safe children's crossings.
Thank you, CEO, and thank you for your questions. We also did receive questions, I believe, from Jo Yates, so I don't think Jo's coming. I think she put an apology in and asked those questions to be read at questions from members. So we will get to that when we get to that item on the agenda. Jo, you're definitely not here. Thank you. We received some questions very late from Piera Usher. Is Piera here? Hello. Welcome, Piera. You don't need to. We can take them as read. Obviously, we don't have answers from right now because I think we only received it. But feel free, come on if you would like to. If not, I can read them out for you. It's your choice. Come on up then. Yeah.
So my questions were in regards to the Bicentennial Square upgrade redevelopment. And I was wondering what was in the works or what was thinking.
Oh, sorry, Piera. Is it Piera correct? Could you just grab the microphone, I think, so we can make sure people are heard as well. Thank you.
Sorry.
Handheld one. Sorry, not that one. Yep.
Yeah. So my inquiry was whether there are going to be any current or proposed plans that involve renaming the Pat Usher foreshore. And that comes with that. Are the family going to be consulted? Is the community going to be consulted? And just any governance around that?
Yeah, sure. So Thanks, Pierre. Yeah. Thanks, Pierre. And I'll note that you've indicated your Pat Usher was named in honour of your grandfather. There definitely would, I can say that on the record, that any changes would certainly have further consultation. I know you've asked a couple more questions on here, what will occur. We'll get a formal response for you, and that'll be in the minutes. But I can categorically say that yes, if there was, and at this stage, I don't understand any changes to be changing in that space, but if there were, there would definitely be a lot of consultation to be done. Thank you for your questions, and we'll get a formal response to you, which will also be in the minutes. Thank you, and thank you for coming. And we'll be discussing that item tonight as well. I don't believe we've received any other questions. So, moving along, item 7 is a confirmation. We have some ordinary minutes, some ordinary council meeting here, a special council meeting and some committees. Could somebody move that the minutes from the OCM? Thank you, Councillor Kozisek, as a seconder. Thank you, Councillor Ramesh. All those in favour of those minutes, please indicate. That's carried, thank you. And we also have the minutes from the special council meeting on the 22nd of June. Is somebody happy to move that they be accepted? Thank you, Councillor Kozisek, seconded by Councillor Ramesh. I'll put that as well. Those in favour, please indicate. That is carried. Thanks, Marina. Sorry, I got you there. And we have committee meeting of the Heritage Advisory Committee. We have minutes there. Is somebody happy to move that they are a true and accurate record of that meeting? Councillor Brown, seconded by Councillor Deputy Mayor Trezor Smith. I'll put that. Those in favour, please indicate. That is also carried. Those minutes are all carried as true and correct. Thank you. We have received a few requests for deputations. I'm not sure if all of them are here or have sent through. I haven't seen Mr. Stubber. Is Paul here? Paul's not here. No, Tom's here. Okay, Paul's not there. Sam's also not here, but I think Gavin's doing it on his behalf, so we can probably move Sam too. So we have 2 requests for deputations. Councillors, I'll put that we hear those deputations. Those in favour, please indicate. That's carried. Thank you. Thanks, gentlemen. You have both been here before, so when we get to the item, we'll call you up to make your deputation. Working through the agenda. So I've had questions before from people who may not have been in meetings. What we're doing with here is we are pulling out any of these items that will be discussed. The other items that aren't pulled out, we're asking are moved on block and then are dealt with as is the recommendation written. So right now, coming out for discussion, or they need to come out for discussion, are 10.3.3, 10.3.4, and 10.4.1, and obviously we'll deal with the items 15 separately. Is there any others coming out for discussion? Everyone relax with the remainder. If that's the case, could I have somebody move that the remainder be moved on block? Thank you, Councillor Brown, seconded by Councillor Kozisek. Those in favour of that, please indicate. That's carried unanimously. Thank you. So if you are there for any of the other items, as 10.2.1, 10.3.1, 10.3.2, 10.3.5, or 10.4.2, they have been carried as written. Basically, they've been discussed previously and Council has now accepted those. So, moving on to the agenda, we are working our way through now. We are dealing with item 10.3.3, which is the proposed new reserve and annual contributions for the community courts at Hay Park. So, we do have one deputation on this item. Thank you, Gavin. Please come and join us.
Can you hear me?
I can do.
Yep.
You have 10 minutes, Gavin. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the chance to speak. It's a really exciting time for Bunbury basketball and I think Bunbury itself as well. We're at the point where we're about to sign a funding agreement for 6 community basketball courts out at Hay Park. We're about to sign a design and construct contract with a local builder, Perkins, and hopefully tonight you'll be able to endorse a lease agreement with the city to allow Bunbury Basketball to operate the facility, but also help with the ongoing maintenance of that facility. We're here and it's an exciting time. we got here because of a lot of work by a lot of people. The city was instrumental in the early workings, the modelling, the support that we received in terms of running a facility, I guess the guidance and the support through all the government, local government, state government processes. So I want to recognise, I would like to recognise the contribution of the city doing that. Alan and your colleagues, Dave Russell, Gary Thompson, have been instrumental in getting us here. So we're on track to turn dirt in July. We've had a really robust project management process to get us to 80% design. We've been able to include 6 courts in the design for the amount of funding that was given by the state government. We're engaging local builders. One of the things with the sustainability of the ongoing operation of the facility, we've had independent consultants look at that. So they've been able to benchmark against similar facilities across the state and have a look at the financial modelling. And the outcome of that was that we're in a pretty good spot from that perspective. One of the things they outlined in that is how do we maintain the facility over the next 10 to 30 years. And we've been able to put together a schedule based on their input that we think is sustainable. The facility is going to provide a great space for not only basketball but other sports as well. And our belief is that we can do that in a sustainable manner going forward. It's been a robust process. We've had early contractor involvement process. We've had a review with Department of Creative Industries and Sport and Tourism. They sort of put the torch to our feet a couple of weeks ago so they could understand how we're going to mitigate cost blowouts, because we know in this environment at the moment there's a lot of cost escalation out there. So we think we're being prudent in terms of identifying what the potential costs are on a long-term basis. So that schedule that OTIM or the independent consultants developed, we've modelled that over 30 years. So we've got an understanding of when we're going to get those big costs. So I guess we're asking for a continued collaboration with the city to help with the ongoing structural, the big ticket items. So Bunbury Basketball will take care of the ongoing annual maintenance programs and preventive maintenance programs. And we're asking for a contribution, well, not a contribution, but I guess a commitment to help with the big structural sort of maintenance items. I think that's all. Open to questions or?
Thanks, Gavin. Not opportunity during the OCM for question from members. We appreciate your deputation. Thank you, and thank you for your work today. I'd also note Councillor Quain just put in a note that she is declaring impartial interest in this item as she is on the board. So that's all. Thanks, Gav. So thank you, Councillor Quain. That has been noted as well. We'll probably just get you to do the paperwork at some stage. Okay, councillors, we have an executive recommendation as follows, which is on the screen behind me and in front of you. Is somebody happy to move that executive recommendation? Councillor Kozisek, second by Councillor Ramesh. Is there going to be any debate on this item, councillors? Councillor Kozisek.
Thank you, Mayor. I really only prepared something very brief on this. I unfortunately was not here at last week's briefing meeting, but I do speak for the executive recommendation. Allocating funds for future maintenance of the courts, in fact of any of our community and owned facilities, sporting or otherwise, is both prudent and vital to our city. We have never shied away from assisting the community in maintenance or upgrades to any of their facilities. Just recently, we allocated $42,000 to the Bunbury Women's Club to help restore their beautiful old building, much loved by our community. We have returfed the hockey playing grounds, resealed the athletics field, helped fund lighting upgrades to football and soccer grounds, and the list goes on and on. Perhaps we should be calling this reserve Community Facilities Reserve, and let's not be specific, because we do help a lot of sporting facilities and other community-owned facilities, and I think it's really important that we continue to maintain them. To coin a phrase that a previous councillor often used, and everybody will know who I mean when I say it, we cannot be kicking the can down the road. Putting aside funds for any future needs is simply good governance. I urge you to support this. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Gosser. Councillor Ramesh.
Nothing more to add, Mr. Mayor.
Speaker against?
Mr. Mayor, I'll take the opportunity to speak against, although I'm yet to be convinced to vote for, and I might still vote for. But it gives me the opportunity to highlight this area that seems to be affecting council budgets, and that is asset maintenance. So this is not the only project that was going to require asset maintenance, and we've just cut back on future proposed asset maintenance. We are, in my view, we are accumulating liability in asset maintenance, probably beyond the capacity of council. So if I maybe make a couple of suggestions. When we seek funding, I know it may or may not happen, for projects that we actually, whether it's grants or commitments, that we should be allowing at least a 10-year allowance in the project costing. So we're not taking it out of ratepayers' money, we're actually collecting it out of grants or projects. So, I really, in my view, I can't see how sustainable our asset maintenance is going to be. Our buildings are getting older. There's many, many sports communities, there's other not-for-profit communities that are using our assets, and a lot of them are still also screaming for improving. When I look at, we're going to be partners in painting these courts every 5 years, internal and external. I mean, just as a rough budget, I reckon it's probably $200 or $300 grand each. Could be $500,000 at least to paint these things. We've just finished the house. I don't know the cost per square metre. And then to also allocate funding for the wear and tear, so resurfacing the courts every 10 years. I'm really not sure that I would ask pensioners to contribute money towards those sort of services. I'm a little bit concerned about the first part where we're actually going to participate 50-50. The second part I can understand, structural, it's normal in leasing. But fair wear and tear, I'm not sure. I do have also one quick question, Mr. Mayor. The $100,000, is that CPI adjusted or indexed? Do you know?
CEO, do you have a response for that?
So the 100,000 is, what we're looking for is that commitment from the first year, but we'll look at the, when we do the long-term financial plan, escalating that like we do any other costs.
Thank you.
So, there's still a liability that we may actually add on to that $100,000 in terms of indexation. I'll leave it to the others to convince me to get this one over the line, but I'm really making a point, more than anything, not this particular item. Asset maintenance, we really need to grab whatever we can in the initial stages of projects of funding and allocate something like 10% for asset maintenance. We cannot go on the way we are. We all know that. Thank you.
Is there a speaker for this executive recommendation? If no one else will, I'll give my best to convince you then, Councillor Gassop. We didn't apply for a grant funding for the Bunbury Community Courts. It was an election commitment, which one of our elected members here fought very strongly for over 6 or 7 years ago now to get some funding, which has since been increased drastically. And we thank the state government for their support from that. And I can say that there's not one person in this room who wouldn't say, here's a $25 million grant and it's going to cost you $100,000 a year to look after it. That is a very, very good deal. And that is credit to the BBA working alongside council to get that facility to be, which will be run by the BBA, which will save us hundreds of thousands of dollars of operating costs if we were to run it ourselves. We know that because we run a facility next door. So this is a great outcome for the community. It's going to be a great community asset. There are plenty of very, very good examples where this kind of model works. And then credit to the BBA and the city's team to come together to look at some kind of reserve on how we go about making sure when the BBA come along in a year or 2 or 5 or 10 years' time and say they've got some major work to do, we actually have some funding available, unlike the current situation where we have that request coming in all the time and we have to make decisions whether it's one project or another. We are actually anticipating what we might be up for in the future, which I think is very good planning. So that's why I'll be supporting this, and I think it might be something that we should consider, as Councillor Kozisek just indicated, whether this is a fund for all future maintenance for any major projects we do have. But I think it's very good work, and I'll be strongly supporting of this and thank the BBA for their work to date. Is there a speaker against? Councillor Kozisek?
Just in closing, Mayor, thank you. And I didn't congratulate the BBA on all the work they have done. I know it's taken a few years to get here and it's been a long slog, but getting extra money has been very, very beneficial, and I think it's going to be a great asset to our city. So I urge everybody to support this. Thank you.
Those in favour of the executive recommendation, please indicate. That's carried unanimously. Thank you. I did also miss during acknowledgements, noting Gavin's here. Thank you to former councillors Amanda Yip. Welcome back, Amanda. And Ralph Steen is there as well, Ralph. You might not be able to help me right now, but welcome back to our former councillors in the room and any other former councillors that I might not know are there. Thank you for joining us. Okay, moving along. Item 10.3.4 is our council plan. This comes out as this does need an absolute majority for recommendation 1, councillors. I'll ask that somebody move this. Somebody happy to move adoption of our council plan? Councillor Turner, second by Councillor Cassette. Thank you. Is there likely to be any debate on this item? All good. If you'd like to say something, I can allow that. Yes, Councillor Turner, as the mover.
I didn't really have anything planned, but other than to thank the staff for all the hard work and everything that's been involved in this. It's a huge document and doesn't come about easy. So, thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Gassip, as seconder.
Mr. Mayor, I'll happy to second it. I do just want to make one comment, get my point in on number 3 in the community priorities, which is nature and environment. Protecting and enhancing our beaches, waterways, bushland and green spaces. Community expects the city to take a holistic view of sustainability, greening Bunbury with native species and planning for urban heat mitigation. Just wondering, maybe I should have asked the question last week, what about fauna? What about, for example, if there's long-necked turtles in a property? What should we be doing about it?
I think that's a very specific question, Councillor Gassip. I'll let
Thank
you
Mr. Mayor.
continue.
I'll support the motion.
Thank you. Is there a speaker against? I'll put that. Those in favour of the council plan, please indicate. That is those in favour. Thank you, Councillor Gassip. That's carried unanimously. Thank you. Okay, item 10.4.1. We do have another deputation on this. Tom? Sorry, of course I missed another councillor. I'd also like to acknowledge former councillor Tom Dillon. You're hiding over there, and I should have known you're making a deputation. Please come join us, Tom. That wasn't deliberate at all.
Thank you, Mr.
That's
Mayor.
it. Perfect.
Councillors, CEO Mr. Ferris and elected council members and council officers. I've had the bird flu for about a week, so I'm punching out of the green corner, not coming real good. My attendance here tonight is concerning the proposed rejig of the Bicentennial Square, but my concern is one of passion and memory of the Graham Bricknell Memorial Music Shell. Now, it's something like 30 years ago since the Deputy Mayor, former councillor and an amazing citizen of Bunbury passed away in a tragic boating accident. Some years later, the great Dr. Manier rallied up a committee, including family members, to get together and build the Graham Bricknell Memorial Shell down in the Bicentennial Square. Now, I'm not an architect, I'm not an accountant, I don't know what I am, but I scored the job of raising money to meet this project. Now, this address tonight is not about Tom Dillon, the old fossil, former councillor, whatever you want him to be, professional public nuisance, but I'm here to tell you all about the relevance and the history of the Graham Bricknell Memorial Shell. The committee got together and an architect provided us with a scale model of what the shell would look like. I was then given the gig of raising the money. So I went off to Perth one day with my scale model and my address to the then Mr. Cheney of Wesfarmers, Mr. Collisthorpe, the Managing Director of Cable Sands, and the man from Westfire, his name escapes me. But I came home that day with a $100,000 commitment to get it started, and I thought that wasn't too bad. We then moved on and we awarded the contract to the local builder, Perkins, spearheaded by Dan Perkins. Perkins built the music shell on time, on budget, and made a really significant in-kind contribution. The acoustics for the music shell were designed by the engineer who did the bell towers in Perth. Well do I recall Deputy Mayor Judy Jones on her hands and knees with a team of helpers picking up the paving bricks which was to be replaced by reticulation and lawn, which was another gift by a local company. But Councillor Jones palletised those bricks and we sold them to a buyer, which was more money. In all, we raised $300,000 cash and serious in kind. The budget was $450,000, and my learned friend here, the Treasurer for Finance, he will well recall it. Then we had a bit of a bun fight getting Council of the Day to chip in the other $150,000, but we got it up. Prior to the music shell, Council was paying some $10,000 a time for scaffolding staging for Anzac Day, Carols by Candlelight, Australia Day, and whatever else was on the go. On one weekend, Graham Bricknell's son, Eddie, who is a licensed electrical contractor, he pulled together 40 plus qualified electricians who had all served their apprenticeship with Bricknell Electrics. And in 2 days on that one weekend, one equivalent $90,000 of labour and in-kind material was put into the music shell, and a lot of us may not remember, there's underground power that goes right down to the control box where the sound and lighting is controlled from. To me, the Bricknell Memorial Shell is a sacred shrine. That's what I see it as, a sacred shrine. And I'm really a little bit outspoken, as some of you will know. I put it on par with the Bunbury War Memorial. I also recall the dedications that were given to forefathers of this town and city council. The vision by Percy Payne. I can't remember her Christian name, but the first ever lady councillor to me was Nana Hudson. I know council did a room dedicated to Nana Hudson. Hay Park, Usher Forshaw, Minia Park and College, Robertson Drive, just to name a few. Like everybody in Bunbury, and certainly by the City Council, the dire situation of our depleted CBD is really, really a concern. The CBD parking is a concern. The homeless people is a serious concern, and we can say, not my gig, not the council, not the state government, not the federal government, but it saddens me to see the spectacle of the homeless, less fortunate people around Bunbury. It really does bother me. There's not a lot I can do. I have put up a few suggestions, but I've been kicked out of the ballpark. It bothers me that 82 cruise ships are going past our front door down to Busselton, where you anchor out at sea and you ferry in by boat. My late wife and I travelled the world, Japan, Canada, Alaska, Europe. Wherever you went, there was a terminal for the cruise ship and there were beautiful people to greet you as you disembarked from your ship. Those people should be coming into Bunbury. We need to have some level of a cruise terminal down at the outer harbour. The infrastructure's there, the wharf is there, it gets dredged, the scrap metal ships come in there and they're able to go out with umpteen tonnes of scrap metal. I'm pretty good at spending money because I don't have any money problems because I haven't got any money. But Bunbury needs more major events of attraction. And if I was able to do the Bunbury City Council budget, which I know the Treasurer won't let me do, I'd fire up $1 million to get major events and attractions to Bunbury. Bolters Heights, what a spectacle that could be. Over the years, it's had Band-Aid spending. It needs a real fire shot. In recent times, the AFL football match, what a spectacle in the most magnificent rural football arena in Australia. I managed to get there this year. I have been putting pressure on the Mayor because I'm going to run a campaign to bring Collingwood because it's breaking my heart. The other great thing that's happened in the last couple of days was the return of the wonderful Australind train. And I'm told down the track a bit, we'll have about 4 services a day. People used to come from Perth and along the line down to Bunbury, disembark at the old station and spend the day in Bunbury and spend money in Bunbury. Bunbury's a beautiful place. My children were born here. My grandchildren were born here. My great-grandchildren were born here. And it's been able to suffice every need for all individuals of every rank and file. Councillors, what I'm asking you for tonight, and I'm not wanting to be disruptive, but I'm asking you to somehow or other make a resolution that the Graham Bricknell Memorial Music Shell does not get dismantled. As I said, to me it's a sacred shrine. I haven't spoken to the family. They've been through a bit of grief lately. I haven't been able to put in a submission because I've been through a terrible 12 months with the loss of my wife and myself very sick. But I'm still having a crack. I love Bunbury. I'm delighted with the services that the Mayor and the CEO are doing and the City Council and the officers. Bunbury is where I belong, and Errol Barrett peeps through my bedroom window every morning, but he's not getting me just yet. Councillors, we've demolished, we've decimated. Let's hang on to what we've got. I was in Albany a week ago.
Mr Dillon, you are at your 10 minutes, so I'll let you summarise, but...
The beautiful buildings that remain in Albany, Mr Mayor, they are beautiful. We've put a lot of them down, but do not let the Graham Bricknell Memorial School be dismantled and disregarded. Thank you, councillors. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Tom. Marion Hudson was her name as well, Tom. Marion Hudson is the room next door. He's distracted. I'm sure someone will tell him later. Councillors, we do have an executive recommendation in front of us which is endorsing the master planning of this site. Is somebody happy to move the executive recommendation? Councillor Kozisek? Sure. What I might do, Councillor Kozisek, let's get it on the table first and then we'll see how that plays out. Is there a seconder first, the executive recommendation? Councillor Deputy Mayor Smith is happy to second that. We'll just see what your wording is, Councillor Kozisek, and then we'll see if we can deal with it administratively or as an amendment. What were you thinking?
I'm thinking, sorry, point 3, any changes to the Bricknell shell will undertake further community consultation.
Sure, I'll just refer that through to the CEO. It doesn't take away from the intent of the executive recommendation. Well, I won't speak for the CEO, so I'll let the CEO answer that.
Thank you, Mayor. I think the point I'd make with this adoption of this plan is that it is all concept. So it's based on a whole lot of engagement over the last 12 months to get it to this conceptual stage, and there's significant work that needs to be done on all of the items that are in there that will need to be unpacked and more detailed design done. So that would be done anyway, Councillor Kozisek, but to put that in there, I don't have an issue with that being separately identified, acknowledging that all of the moves in here will be subject to further consultation and detailed planning and design.
Great. If you're comfortable with that then, and the seconder is happy with that minor change in there. I think we'll just wait for this. I think we can be a little bit potentially simpler. I think it was, Minutaker, if I can stop you there. I think it was determine any changes with the Graham Bricknell shell will incorporate further community consultation. I think that was the intent. Mover?
Thank you, yes.
Is that the intent, Councillor Kozisek?
That is, thank you, yes.
And CEO, you're comfortable with that administratively?
I am, Mayor.
Thank you. And seconder, you're comfortable? Deputy Mayor Smith? You're okay. Thank you. Okay, no worries. So that will become the standard motion. So what we've just done there, the administrative have indicated that there's no that doesn't change the intent of the executive recommendation. So we've dealt with that administratively. Councillor Kozisek.
Thank you, Mayor. Look, I actually have nothing prepared, so this is really going to be a little bit off the cuff. My apologies if I don't get it right. I joined council nearly 8 years ago now because I had fought to keep, not to keep, but to change the parking arrangements in the CBD. We were paying, we had meters in the city, and unfortunately that had driven a lot of our shoppers out of the city. So we formed a group and we had that change. So I've always been passionate about our CBD. I think it's such an imperative part of who Bunbury is and what Bunbury is. So to me, this Bicentennial Square master plan, and it is only a master plan at this stage, it will be fine-tuned, but this master plan is really, really exciting. It gives us an opportunity to embrace what we have. We have a fabulous old heritage building down at the train station that we are looking to completely renovate and turn into something amazing. We have a fabulous foreshore that it will overlook. The bus station, we are talking about a new location for that bus station, but again, it will be in the CBD and it will be very central. We're not planning to move it out so nobody can utilise it. when we want to make the whole city more pedestrian friendly and more livable. So the whole precinct plan, as I say, I think it's really, really exciting. Bricknell Shell is part of that, and the discussions were that we still want the Bricknell Shell. We're just not sure whether where it is now will be the best location. And again, that's a plan that will be worked through in the next 5, 10 years, because this is going to take a few years to get there. So in all, I just think the whole thing is absolutely a bonus for our city. It will make it more livable, it will make it more interesting, and everybody will benefit from it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mover. Second, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I concur with Councillor Kosik's comments, and as the CEO said, it's based on a concept plan at this stage. Now, we're as a city, and I concur also with the former Deputy Mayor, Mr Dillon, we can't stop still. We have to keep looking on how we improve our city. And if you think of the Chinese proverb, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. So you've got to start somewhere. So, and the Bricknell Shell is much loved by everyone, and I think we have no intention of ever getting rid of it. We just have to find out where the best spot is for it. I have not got much to add other than to say that as a city, we can't stand still. We have to keep looking on how we can keep improving our city. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy. Is there a speaker against? Councillor Castle.
Mr Mayor, at the risk of overexposing myself publicly in terms of debate, it is a big agenda, so I do want to have a say on this one. There are probably 5 items that I'm uncomfortable with here. The rest of it I'm fine. I couldn't speak last time, but now I can. Things have changed. I'll just name them briefly. One is renaming Bicentennial Square. I have a concern with that. The recommendation to remove the bus station from there, I have concern with that, where it might go. Point about the train station, I don't have a concern with that, but I think if there's anything we can enact quickly, we can probably get going with the train station and bring in the visitor centre into that, so activate the area. That's a short-term goal. Blair Street, I feel we could be choking up Blair Street. That's the main route, north-south, other than the Ocean Drive. One concern with that. And most of all, the amendment, item 3 up there, I feel it's not strong enough. If you look at the text and the extrinsic material in the recommendation, in the plan it says deconstruct the steel frame structure and relocate it to another event venue within the city of Bunbury. I would question, right, just based on personal view and experience, whether it's even feasible to relocate that. You know, wonder if anyone's actually done some sort of analysis whether if you're going to do that again, you're going to have to bring it up to the current building codes for a start, deconstructing and constructing. We have probably an asset that's probably worth between $5 and $10 million there. I would not want to relocate it. I would want to put a point in there that it must be retained exactly where it is in its current form. Maybe it needs some a TLC. So unless someone can support me to change this motion to actually reword the words to actually retain the Graham Bricknell Shell and not touch it. The Shell, as Mr Dillon, former councillor and Deputy Dillon said, is almost hallowed ground. It is built in honour of a former Deputy Mayor. It's a memorial, for God's sake. And if we take it down, we'll never build it. We will never rebuild it. I'm willing to stake my reputation on that. If we take it down, it'll never be rebuilt. So, in the context of the motion, item 3, the background information is item 6. It's very clear, and when you make decisions and go back to look at them, you look at the extrinsic material, which is this one, relocate the Graham Bricknell Memorial Music Shell. Right? It's very clear. And then on our website, Mr. Mayor, find it. again, it says the same thing. It's very important, so I'll just read it out. On our Bricknell Memorial Sound Music Show, the city acknowledges Graham Bricknell Memorial Show is a meaningful piece of community infrastructure in consultation with the family of Graham Bricknell. City plans to dismantle the music show and store it until an appropriate relocation can be determined. Removal of current structure will provide an opportunity for active land use and that better serves the community needs and spaces. Is there a better use than a memorial? A new, more lightweight sound show structure will be constructed to host events and performances in the precinct. So it's not going back in the precinct, according to how I'm reading this, back onto Haley Street. This revised design will provide a flexible stage setup that can be adjusted for event needs. That's fine, but are we going to really dismantle the show? And how, I'll take your advice, Mr. Mayor, how you can assure me that this is not going to be relocated or dismantled. So I'll never vote for it. So can I move some sort of motion to do that, or are you just going to let me vote against it?
I think you've foreshadowed that it should be that, because obviously this is indicating that any change there would have that that alternative recommendation.
Just on that item, Mr. Mayor.
Sure, and happy to.
If you can help me get that item 3 amended, so
So there'll be no amendment. You're foreshadowed.
so maybe you can take it in points, vote it in points.
I'll
and
take them in points.
Hopefully people.
We've requested there is we'll take items 1 when I get to that item. When we get to that, we'll go through items 1, 2, 3. I think we understand the intent. Is there a speaker for the motion?
Look, I don't really have much more to say that, but I really firmly believe and get a better understanding of how everybody feels about it. It will be 5 years before I think we even get to that point. So we've got a bit of time in between to...
So right now we are dealing with point 1, which is endorsed the Bicentennial Square Master Plan as the strategic framework for the stage revitalisation of this project, precinct. Those in favour, please indicate. Therefore, the city will proceed with the 9 key moves. Those in favour of that, please indicate. Those against, 1 against. And part 3, as I said, there has been a foreshadowed alternative motion here, but right now, I'll put that. Those in favour of that point, please indicate. Those against, that is carried, 1 against. Thank you. Thank you, councillors. So, members of the public, we are... I'm just going to... sorry, before we get to that item, we do have a response, but you've submitted a question. Do you want to ask that? Oh, you can ask that. Sorry, councillor. I don't have it in front of me.
From a business person and ratepayer, they would like an update on the Prinsep Street upgrade.
Yeah, sure. I can defer to the CEO. I believe the director has got that question.
Separately to provide the update for Prinsep Street.
Sure. And Councillor Turner had some questions. These were submitted by a ratepayer, so I think we've got the responses for them. So, Councillor Turner.
Yes, thank you. On behalf of Joe Yates, who lives in Glen Iris, question 1, given that Aquest has formally verified the water supply at Sundew Park is safe municipal scheme drinking water, on what regulatory or public health basis does the city administration justify denying Glen Iris families and pet owners access to a basic hygiene and first aid water asset for the next 5 years? Do you want me to continue with the other ones? Question 2, if the administration intends to cite water conservation or regional peak consumption targets as a justification for denying a single low-flow barbecue tap in Glen Iris, how does it reconcile this stance with the millions of litres of scheme water funded and approved by City to run high-volume entertainment assets such as the 40-plus nozzle skites for Foreshore Splash Park and open flow interactive playground water? Question 3, as City plumbing and reticulation crews are due on site to modify the plumbing network, will the City execute a cost-effective solution and request the crews to install a standard water conservative, restrictive timing tap fixture before the current works conclude? Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Turner. I think the CEO may have responses. We're just getting some governments, whether they are read out, but CEO, I'll defer to you.
Mayor, I can read the questions out, but they will be included in the minutes, so I think we can probably just take them on notice and include them in the minutes. Sure. Thank you.
So just for, obviously, the public interest there, they have been submitted. They will be in the minutes. Given Jo's not here, she's sent those for elected member to be asked. They're now publicly read. They'll be publicly, answers will be public in the minutes as well. They're quite lengthy responses, so see, I might be talking for a little while on those ones. But they will be responded and responses will be provided to Jo, and she's more than happy to attend, or she's more than welcome to attend in future ones. So, councillors, we are at item 15, which does require us to go behind closed doors. Now, before I do or ask, we get a... Have you got
Yes,
that?
I do. I, Councillor Marina Quain, declare in accordance with Regulation 14 CA Item 5 that I can maintain confidentiality during the closed part of this meeting. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Quain. So we have the two items here. So is somebody happy to move that we move behind closed doors? Councillor Kozisek, second by Councillor Brown. I'll put that. Those in favour, please indicate. Those against, one against. So, members of the public, we are closing to the public now, as indicated at the start of the meeting. This has two items that both have some commercial confidence around them. At the end of this session, or once we finish behind closed doors, we will reopen to the public, and I'll read the determination. But obviously any discussions and debate will be done behind closed doors, given some of the commerciality around that. We'll read that. Like I said earlier, this might be 5 minutes, it might be half an hour. So I'm sorry I can't give more information from that. The information decision made will be publicised regardless. So yeah, if you're wanting to stay, there's tea and coffee in the foyer, you're more than welcome to. And once we've got a decision, we'll read out that decision. And as I said, particularly for those who are here for the Beach Road site, if the decision is made is to proceed, that will be out for public advertising very shortly as well. But thank you for your time, and we may see you again in a moment. If not, we'll see you very soon, I'm assuming. Thank you. sure. Yeah. Yes, thank you. Thanks, Councillor Turner. Back live streaming. Thank you for your patience. Council has made 2 resolutions while behind closed doors. The first one was item 15.1.1, which was the proposed disposal of freehold land lot 21 on deposited land 14556. Me very shortly. That recommendation was that council agree to the sale of the freehold land at lot 21 on deposited land 14556 Beach Road, South Bunbury, of the proposed disposal in accordance with section 3.58 of the Local Government Act, and notes that any submissions received during the advertising period will be referred back to council for consideration to be transferred to Land Management Reserve for the purpose of the future strategic reports. That motion was carried 4 votes to 5 votes with a casting vote in favour. What that tells us is that now is going out for advertising. I've been informed it will likely be from the 7th of July. But we'll make sure that is publicised with residents to make formal submissions, and it will return to council at the end of that period. I'm suggesting it won't be in the next council meeting, but likely to be in the council meeting after that, which will be at that stage, it'll be an item. We also made a decision, 4 votes to 4 votes with the casting votes of 5 votes. We also made a decision while behind closed doors. We also made a decision while behind closed doors, if we can go to 15.1.2. The executive recommendation was this, it doesn't give you a huge amount of details, is that the executive recommendation was that council endorse confidential option 1 as detailed per the officer's comments within CURSC 2. That was lost. There was an alternative recommendation raised, which was that council resolved to retain its original position as per council decision 245-25, noting that is still under confidential cover, so there's not much more details on that. I will declare this meeting closed at 7:33. I'm now happy to answer your questions. So the Local Government Act